बोलो।
Self-utilitarianism, is self-utilitarianism real या फिर it is something made up?
So as far as what do you mean, is it real?
मतलब is it मतलब in the sense कि can you argue for it in a debate kind of?
You can argue that everyone does it. So you can use self-utilitarianism as a clash. So when someone says that, "Arey, tum log kaise kar rahe ho?" you can say that everyone does it. That is, I would say, a weak way of arguing it. Based on, you cannot honestly argue it based on principles or consequences. You can just argue it based on human behavior, how it is something which everyone will do. But no, I do not see you winning a debate saying that self-utilitarianism is the way forward. You can probably, if someone says that aren't you being self-utilitarianism, you can mitigate the strength of this argument by saying ki, so are you, so is like America, so are government, so is everyone else. A way to strengthen this argument, however, is talk about the deontological aspect of it, of how it's my duty to take care of my family, and how this duty is more important than any other duty. So you link everything together. You link the deontological principle that you have to take care of your family. You link the rule utilitarianism that if everyone uses the rule of taking care of their family, then the world will be a better place, and hence it's a good thing to do. And by that, you try to defend self-utilitarianism by saying that, yes, I will prefer my family over everyone else. Guys, mute your mics. Too much echo. Correct. Shreya has her mic on. Oh, Kshitij, are more people coming?
Yeah, I've sent it like long back, so we can start. मतलब SRCC से एक दो लोग might join, but they're gonna like they have their class apparently, so they're gonna join थोड़ा late if they are. But
I mean, it would finish. We've already had like 1.5 घंटा, so this is finishing in 15 minutes max.
cool. So start कर लो. Problem नहीं होनी चाहिए किसी को.
Perfect. What is Shaurya saying? Oh, cool. Coming back. So, what were we talking about? We were talking about how rich people could be criticized for uh, eating KFC instead of not eating out, and instead uh, giving money to charity. Oh, guys, clash with this. Come on. Do you think it's the same? Is me not saving? Let's put this statement out. Me not giving the extra money I have, not the money that is going to cause me any issues. Matlab, my life is going to be still as good as possible, but the extra money, let's say in a foreign trip, me taking out that money and giving it to someone, I can avoid that foreign trip and instead give money to African kids, but I don't do that. Does that make me? Is that the moral equivalent of me murdering these people? Why is it not? I want clashes on why it's not. Anyone?
Because charity has to be based upon free will, right? The basic idea upon charity is you doing things for others because you feel like. Let's say if I force you into charity.
Consequences.
No.
What are the consequences?
I'm telling you. So let's say the moment you force someone to, let's say, do charity, it disenfranchises you from doing charity, like having like inexclusively would like reduce down, like any kind of sympathy you show to these people will reduce, because now you feel that it's your moral obligation to cater to them. And when that happens, it creates an unjust world, because you will now try to channelize your resources into other directions, or like channelize it more into, let's say, buying fancier cars or things like that, like because you try to justify your needs in that accordance. Because
but
my
what
needs
about
are
but what about the person who in the alternative would never do charity? What about I never do charity? This is my only way I can do charity.
So there are problems with that, because I think greed creates greed creates money, right? So if like if I no longer see any option of becoming better than other, or I don't see that my talents give me a better pedestal in the society, I would never really work to become better, right? And that stagnates my own life, that disincentivizes people from earning that large chunk of money in the first place. So this kind of surplus which you're producing and channelizing to other people will not get created in the first place. So that in the long run
Cool.
will harm charity.
Cool. That's a valid argument. Anything else? काफी arguments है यार, सोच लो.
मतलब अब फिर वही टिकल डाउन इकोनॉमी वाली चीज है कि लेट्स से आप कैपिटलिस्ट बनते हो, सो यू एंड अप हायरिंग मोर पीपल एंड लाइक योर अर्निंग मोर मनी बेसिकली हेल्प्स अदर पीपल इन द प्रोसेस, एंड लाइक योर ग्रीड बेसिकली
That's all fine.
स्मॉल ग्रीड्स.
थोड़ा और डायरेक्ट सोचो. मैं सीधा तुझे बोल रहा हूँ कि you have to defend कि मैं नहीं हूँ murderer. That's all you have to defend. मैं नहीं हूँ murderer.
Can we say that we're not responsible for those children directly? Like,
Perfect.
like, matlab, that's
Cool. I think that's a very legitimate argument. Is that I am not responsible for this particular person, which means, in better words, they aren't poor because of me. So they are not my responsibility. Other arguments, basically, you have to prove the difference between you killing someone and you not paying poor people, not giving charity.
So if you are calling me a murderer because of that, that is like pinning the blame for someone else's actions on me. कि मतलब they are not poor because what I have done, they are poor because of मतलब बाकी लोगों ने जो किया है.
Again, so that is still the not my responsibility argument. Anything else?
Can we argue intent? Like when you're murdering someone, you intend to harm them. But
perfect. So
when you're going
motivation is different. Perfect. So I am not going on a trip in order to kill these people. I'm going on a trip in order to, like, I don't know, just like detoxify before joining a very bad job again. So it's a different intent. What else? Anything else? Anyone else wants to try?
Maybe I don't feel that it is that important. मतलब कि I don't see these people actually starving in front of myself, so I don't know the need that they have.
Perfect. Very good. So the clarity of your consequence, you don't have clarity of कि ये बंदा मर रहा है. That sentimental value is not there for you. That's great. Instead of, if you kill someone, you will see the whites of his eye actually begging for life. So that is not good. I think that's really good. Anything else? Anything else? शौर्य काफी शांत है यार. शौर्य बोल कुछ. Anyone else also can say. ठीक है. So first is motivation is different, definitely. The second is it's too difficult. I mean, it's very
sorry,
difficult for me.
I had one. Can I get... No, part two.
Part.
Not the one you wanted. So
you
anyway.
sound very similar.
Okay. So this is one more idea, okay, and this is about normalization of happiness. For me, giving up on that chicken is a direct harm, like, because I am used to having that chicken. So now in this case, I'm not going for a luxury here. I'm going for something which is expected for me, and that is the kind of happiness I've normalized myself to.
Perfect.
A similar example of this could be, let's say, you doing charities to make poorer people better off is unfair to a level where poor people maybe are happier in their own echo chambers, right?
Right? That makes sense.
For a poor person, having an additional roti at night creates the same level of serotonin for you, which you'd probably get from like securing a job at Bain, right? You know what I mean? Like the idea is कि वो लोग भी equal level of खुशी होते हैं, but you cannot quantify मतलब मेरा एक chicken कम होना versus them gaining $100, because that's a harm to me. So why should I take a harm upon myself? So intent के साथ because let's say murdering someone. Because let's say for murdering someone, I'm trying to increase my happiness on their compromise. But here, what I'm doing is I'm decreasing my happiness for an increment in their happiness, and that's an unfair social burden to put on. So that's
cool. So I think there were two arguments here. One was the Sida clashing with the issue itself, saying that I deserve this chicken, and it's my right to have this chicken, and it's not like directly usko kuch harm ho raha hai. Maybe even he is happy, which basically means there's no certainty of outcome, right? Which is, there is no certainty that if I pay this person, his happiness is going to increase much more than my sadness in not having KFC. There is no certainty in the first place that his life will be saved. शायद वो तब भी मर जाए वो पैसों के साथ. And finally, it's too difficult to save people. It's just extremely difficult for me to do this on my own. It's very easy for me to not kill someone. It's a basic principle I follow. But it's too difficult for me to actually try and help everyone in the world and give up all my luxury.
And we can
So
also argue in a way that all the dues of society which I held upon myself, I've already paid for them in the form of taxes. So
true. Again,
why
that's
should
similar to Part's point. I have done I've paid my dues. Now I deserve this chicken. Quickly just talking about how these points are clashed with. Again, so the one point was clarity of consequences. जो I forgot किसने बोला. I think Pranay ने बोला था that I don't see this person dying in front of me. The clash with that is simple, right? But you do know it exists. You know that there are people, you can see poor people around you, and you should pay them. I'm just quickly going through all of these particular clashes. Second point was the certainty, जो Parth ने बोला कि certainly उसकी happiness बढ़ थोड़ी ना रही है. So an argument that a utilitarian gives here is that when you ride a bike at a very fast speed, or ride a car or drive a car at a extremely high speed, you're not certainly killing someone. You are not even motivated to kill someone. You're just doing it for your own fun. Like Parth is eating that chicken for his own fun, right? It's not necessarily causing anyone harm, but still it's not allowed. It's not allowed to. There is a certain thing called the driving limit, which does not mean that you can do things unless you are certain of the outcomes. Thirdly, talking about that they're not dying again because of me. Again, the standard consequentialist argument here is that all actions are related. You have to think in this way that yes, this money could have gone to them. This money could have been used in a better way. And I think these sort of arguments are, you might find them fanciful, but I think many people do think about these arguments if they decide to like give up their job and start an NGO. If you talk to people who are running charities, many of them do have these arguments and they believe in these arguments strongly as well. I'm not saying that these are right arguments. I'm saying these are valid arguments. And sure, the counters are also valid, the ones you gave me. Fourthly, talking about motivation, similar to the accident, right? If I am a homicide or an accidentally murdering someone, accidentally someone dies, then that should not be my fault, because even in that case, the motivation was different. I didn't want to kill that particular person. And finally, the last point was it's too difficult to save these people. Again, I think Parth talked about them. It's easier for me to not kill someone. And this is the strongest clash, basically, to utilitarianism, is that the great amount of work that is put into trying to make sure your consequences are actually benefiting everyone. So again, the clash here is simple. Just do your best. Propensity dekh lo. Propensity of harm dekh lo. If you can avoid something, avoid something. If you can avoid this trip, avoid it. Quick questions about this topic before we move on to our final topic, which I just wanted to cover one. Any questions? And of course, if you have questions, we can discuss them later as well on WhatsApp or on WhatsApp.
What was the clash to the point that you don't have moral responsibility towards those children?
Right. So the clash that you don't have responsibility to those children is basically, so the point is they're not dying because of me. They're dying because of someone else. The clash is that no, you are also a reason why they are dying. You not doing things is the reason they are dying. You earning so much, or I mean, anything you do is going to affect people. Let's say you're an advertising company, right? Your ads increasing the cost of clothes and not making it feasible for poor people to buy those clothes is the reason why people are dying. So the argument is it's linked. The counter to that is everything that you do is linked to each other. Does that solve your doubt, Ramneet?
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Finally, talking about triage now. Triage, I think it's pronounced triage. And we'll end here, right? Triage is something. So triage. Does anyone know what triage is? First of all,
I think it's a discussion which has been happening off recently with the coronavirus pandemic, where hospitals have the right of rejecting patients.
perfect.
I think it's something to do with that, where you reject
Right.
patients based upon who you want to.
Right. That's a very good example, Part. So triage, actually, the concept, the word came about in very similar times. It came about I think during World War One or World War Two, one of them. So triage means like the word it's try. The first three letters are try, which basically means three. What triage means is that there will always be three kinds of people or three kinds of situations you have to deal with. So triage came about during World War One. Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we could hear you pehle also. We could hear you earlier also.
Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, Maitre, you're audible.
Cool. So triage means this, right? Triage was used by army doctors and war medics. They basically divided all the soldiers, all the wounded soldiers, into three sections. The first section was those soldiers who would survive regardless. Sure, their survival would be tougher. Sure, they might lose a limb, they might lose a finger or something. Sure, they might have issues which could decrease their overall lifespan, but they will survive even if they are not treated immediately. The second are people who need medical help to survive, otherwise they will die. The third are people who are mostly going to die only, or like mostly they might survive, but they'll like die 2-3 days later out of some other issues. So what people decided then was we will only work on the second workers because obviously resources are limited. Similarly, that has happened in the coronavirus now, right? If the infected people are so bad, and especially when hospital beds of other ICU patients are now being replaced by those for corona patients, the children who get corona are told to stay at home. Because guys, you will survive regardless. Maybe your lung capacity could actually be affected. Maybe, I don't know, maybe this thing could get more serious later on, and maybe you could have a very horrible 2 weeks where you can't breathe. But you'll probably survive, isliye ghar pe raho. The third people are those who are going to die regardless. So unko doctors are saying, or like people in the ICU or people in coma, doctors are saying that we have to pay less attention on these people because mostly they're going to die. And secondly, the main people, right? The people who people are caring about most now is that agar nahi help kiya to marenge, agar help kiya to nahi marenge. Understand how triage is used everywhere in life. How whenever you make a choice, you always differentiate into ये करना पड़ेगा मुझे क्योंकि ये नहीं किया तो बहुत हार्म होगा. Let's say looking at your minors and majors exams, right? There are some exams where even if you don't study, you will pass. शायद 10 ही नहीं लगेगी, but you will pass to some extent. There are some exams जो कितना भी पढ़े तब भी पक्का ही लगने वाला है. So might as well not waste time studying. So you only study for those जिसमें you see that if you study well for it, you will pass. You don't study well for it, you will fail. And this sort of making a particular choice is something which is used a lot in debates as well. And I'm sure the next time you debate, you will, if you think of these things, it will help in putting arguments. So, for example, especially even in like IR debates and economy debates about who do we provide aid to, who do we ally with, what is a drowning boat, when do we allow something to drown, who do companies care about most, which companies are going to be benefited most by a particular thing. So there was an American ecologist called Garrett Hardin, pretty famous guy. He famously said that helping countries like India and Bangladesh is like adding families to our lifeboat. Let the famines make droughts, famines and all natural disasters, let them make India and Bangladesh controllable of a controllable population, and only then we'll take them on the boat. Which basically means that countries in third world countries or countries which are not doing well, countries jiske overpopulation is actually harming them a lot, these countries should be left to rot, should be left to manage things on their own. And only when our help is actually going to sufficiently help them are we going to actually do it. So this is, I think, one example where you will start thinking that ये तो गलत है, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. We can't just condemn countries to die, right? This is against humanitarian grounds. But then use these arguments for all for literally every movement that happens right now, literally everyone demanding equality, discrimination, feminism, use these arguments in all of these places. That let's talk about feminist propaganda, right? Let's talk about any sort of push for equality. The people who are cared about most are the people who can bring out the maximum. Most feminist propaganda, most feminist ideologies are based, and again, I may not be right here, but most of them run and most of them are seen most evidently in like New York, Mumbai, Delhi, and all of these places. Because these are the women who can break through, who can get out of the patriarchal world and be role models for the next generation, right? But we're not really considering. But is the third section being considered of people with these feminist rules won't be able to break out. Talking about discrimination or talking about reservation here, right? Now, let's say I want to offer free coaching. Let's say I'm like a really smart IIT and I want to offer free coaching, but jisko main offer karunga will be greatly benefited in getting a IIT Bombay CSE, right? So again, now there are three options of people I can offer this coaching to. The first are smart. Now, let's say the first are people who are rich, general category people who have a lot of money, who have the option of getting into any coaching class that they want. Me offering them help might at max increase their chances from IIT Delhi CS to IIT Bombay CS, or like IIT Delhi Textile to IIT Delhi Chemical, or IIT Delhi CS. Right? The second group of people is, let's say, reserved people, but who are still rich enough. And I know that right now, with their reservation, with their money, they are getting coaching classes, but it's still not enough for them to get into IIT. So I need to give them that push. The third, let's say, is for people who do not have money, right? And even me helping them will not get them IIT Delhi CS. There is no chance it will get them. Who should I help, right? But this is the question that has puzzled, not this question exactly, but these sort of questions are often very puzzling. Do you help those who might have worked harder and might benefit lesser? Or do you help those who might have worked lesser, but the benefit to them is more? Is reservation justified here, where some people who might get more marks than reserved people will not get IIT? And is it also justified for the poor people who do not have coaching, who might be reserved and do not have coaching classes? Is it getting these people into IIT? A very common argument against the reservation as it exists today is this exactly, right? It's not helping those who need it most. It's not helping the poorest of the poor. And it is going against the best of the best because many of them are not getting a seat in IIT due to it. It's only helping those giving a slight push to those who are neither in the place where they don't deserve it, nor in the place where they cannot get it. So we can have if anyone has any comments to say on this, they can. Any questions? Yeah, coach. This is basically the end of the session. Try to think about all of these things.
Can you just repeat the last line you said, Abhi?
Okay, so the last line I said is that a common argument against reservation as it exists today is that it is harming the top tier people, right? The people who will get an engineering job regardless of reservation, right? They'll get some job somewhere else. They might not. They will get an engineering seat somewhere else. They might not get IIT Delhi CS, even though their rank is like 130. They might have to get ECE, electrical or chemical, but they will get something. So it's harming these people because without reservation, they would have got a better branch or a better college, or IIT versus non-IIT. It's harming the third people because it's not helping the third people at all. Reservation isn't helping the people who are reserved plus are really poor, because these people are still not getting books or access to coaching classes. It's focused on the second group of people. And sure, it has its own benefits. It's hoping that the second group of people will move on to be role models for the third group, to empower the third group later on. But is it the right form? Is only dealing with the second group the right form? Is it unfair to the other two groups? This is the debate about triage. Should you only focus on the second group? Should children not be admitted to the hospitals right now, and should they be told to stay at home because this bed is more required for someone else? I mean, I can argue against this. I can say that I value my lung capacity much more than like that 60-year-old, and that's why I think I deserve that hospital bed more than that person.
So I was saying ki as from this last example itself, isn't there an inherent assumption that the first group of people who are apparently well off and are at the same time are getting good ranks? But there can be distinction of these three groups by two ways: A, by getting good ranks, and B, by whether they had enough money or not for pursuing those coaching institutes that got them into IIT.
So let's say getting good ranks. Right? Let's say 1 to 3,000 ranks, 3,000 to 10,000, 10,000 above. Okay?
Cool.
1 to 3,000 rank ke people are being disadvantaged by this. I can claim that getting IIT Delhi Textile instead of, if there was no reservation, chemical, led to me not getting a job, led to me not getting the life I deserve, led to me not being happy and rich. So it is a harm to me. 10,000 ke beyond ranks wale can claim that I am so poor that I need to be helped more than these other groups. Reservation should not be the same for all of us. अगर मैं poor हूँ और मुझे coaching classes का access नहीं मिल रहा है, तो कुछ point ही नहीं है reservation. मेरे लिए तो बनाया ही नहीं है reservation, and that is true. Reservation is not really helping the poorest of the poor in getting good education in 11th and 12th. But the second group, 3K to 10K people, these people are the ones getting benefited. These people are the ones getting uplifted.
Cool, ठीक है, समझ गया. But what if at the same time these people did not have इस distinction को अब to financial needs पे ले आओ. जैसे there must be a relation in terms of people who getting 1 to 3,000 rank with the coaching that they ready, with the money that they have. अब अगर इसको भी एक kind of distinction में लाते हैं, then how does it pan out?
So right now, so now this meeting has a 40-minute limit, so we're ending this in 9 minutes. Anyway, economy, right? Dekho, if I am richer, that should not mean I should be disadvantaged. What you are saying is that let's just talk about rich and poor, right? Again, let's just talk about rich and poor here. Let's say you have to give money to someone. You can either give it to another person who is rich, but he can still use that money to, let's say, buy a bike, right? Or you can give it to someone who is extremely, extremely poor. Even if you give him that money, that person ka life nahi change hone wala hai. Or let's say life, maybe they'll get food for like 2 or 3 days more, but after that they'll come back to the form of life they're living now. And there's another third person who, if you give this money to, this person will use that money to, let's say, do something really important. He needs that money to get through IIT. So you will choose to give them to the second person, right? The first person will say, in this sense, that chalo, theek hai, usko benefit zyada ho gaya, but just because मेरे पास पैसा है doesn't mean I don't deserve a bike. थर्ड बंदा बोलेगा, जो एकदम पोअर है, वो बंदा ये बोलेगा कि I still want those 3 days का meals. Maybe I'm coming back to the situation, but जो 3 दिन का meal है, that is much more important to me. That is, you cannot say that is less important than that person की IIT की studies. So this is where triage becomes. This is where choosing the second often becomes confusing, because you have to sure the consequences are better. The consequences overall for the world are from a third person's point of view. The consequences are always better for the moderately poor person becoming rich. But that does not mean that the rich do not deserve that additional benefit, or the poor do not deserve that little benefit.
Cool, got it. Take care.
Cool. Any more questions about absolutely anything? Shaurya can't chat. Shaurya can't talk, but he's chatting a lot. I do not know if that's a question or not. So, pata nahi. Any other questions?
So one criticism of triad is this, that you just were lucky enough to lie in a bracket where you are being treated correct.
Exactly.
You could have very been 60 years old. How do you deal with that? What's the pro triad argument for this?
The pro,
Like how do you start becoming okay with that randomness?
how do you start becoming okay with it? As I said, right? How do you defend utilitarianism? Again, how are you defending the best consequences? Easy. Talk about it from all points of view. That this person, okay, he was lucky to land there, but what this person does will be a role model for the third group. This person will increase the productivity of everyone.
Not in that
Bolo.
way, right? It's related to conscription, where like you are supposed to serve the army. Like during times of wars, I'll randomly select people from all jobs, and they'll be like asked to serve in the army. Just because this process of selection is random, that's how nations justify conscription in times of war. I believe triads sometimes lie in the similar ambit where you are saying ki, hey, listen, coronavirus pandemic hai, you're 20, so I'm okay with it, okay with killing a 60-year-old because he was anyways going to die. But tomorrow when I'm 60 and the stakes are on me, similar kind of thing can happen to me. This ambiguity again like weakens a societal benefit coming from triad. So what are the pro triad arguments under that paradigm?
Yeah. So triage and conscription are different. Triage isn't random. Triage is well thought of. Triage is very well thought of. Triage first finds out कि सबसे ज़्यादा benefit किसको होगा overall from a third person point of view, and it benefits that. So it's not the same as conscription in that sense. Okay, let's try and put triage in conscription, right?
And triad be considered similar to utilitarianism.
Yeah, triage is a utilitarian argument. It's saying maximum benefit by helping these particular people. That's why I put it in as a part of this workshop, because it is a utilitarian argument. It's saying that something. Now, when Park says that unlucky hai, lucky hai, again, so another argument against that is accepting it. It is lucky or unlucky that you are a part of this. We do you did not care. Consequences are good, then it sucks. Life sucks if you aren't a part of the group that is being advantaged. But we still feel that the overall advantage is more better. Understand that utilitarianism, as we've talked about it, does not deal with emotions that much. It does not deal with the person feeling ki life sucks. It's saying sure, you can feel that life sucks. It's fine. It's not promising happiness for everyone. It's promising happiness for a greater number of people.
On that, don't you think if a person has been lucky enough to be placed in the first category where he is not affected as much, so we should give him less privilege so that everyone is now equal? Isn't that kind of like
that is the entire capitalism communism argument, right? Capitalism says that the person who is the richest, the person who has the best business, deserves all the perks that come with it and should make most of whatever he has. Communism and socialism says that no, that this person has become who he is because of society, and his primary motive should be giving back to the society. So that's why the right, which is capitalist, is not as for these movements or discrimination against discrimination or for upliftment as the left is. The left is again the socialist, what you're talking about, Pranay. The left says that ये बंदे को ज़्यादा benefit है, तो इसलिए ज़्यादा privileged है, तो ठीक है, इसको थोड़े कम rights मिले या थोड़े कम अच्छी नौकरी मिली तो chill है. If you're asking my personal views, personally, I would say I am slightly leaning right, and I do believe that if you are smarter, if you are richer, if you are if you've worked hard to get something, you deserve the perks of it a lot. But again, that's a very, that everyone is free to choose what sort of person and what sort of propaganda they want to follow. This is a debate which will never end because it actually is two sides of just two different stances, like a left and a right. That debate is never going to end. So yes, both sides do exist. Some people feel equal benefit to all hona chahiye. Some people feel unequal benefit hona chahiye. Sorry, equal opportunities to all hona chahiye. Some people feel we need to help people, some people more than others, in order to reach that sense of equality, which is not present right now. Okay, so we have 2 minutes left. I don't want to end this call on a as a random mid sentence या कुछ. So if anyone has a very quick question, they can ask. वरना cool. ठीक है, so I think Kshitij, you've recorded the whole thing, right?
हाँ, I've recorded most of the, like, I recorded this second वाला पूरा and उसका भी पूरा, but बीच में एक बार बंद हो गया था. Let me check कि वो कैसे मिलेगा मेरे को. But
I think
हाँ,
Manvi and
मेरे
Parth
पास
were
है।
also recording.
Parth
थोड़ा
is also
थोड़ा.
recording, I guess.
हाँ मेरे पास है पूरा।
तेरे पास पूरा है ना?
सेव कहाँ पे होता है यार?
अभी तो जब तूने बंद किया होगा पहला वाला तो you would have given, उसको ऑप्शन आया होगा कि to download it. वो तूने किया ना?
So this will get cut anytime. So before I go, we can continue discussions on enthusiasts. We can continue discussions anywhere. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned. Feel free to talk to me after this as well.
मेरे को कोई
And,
ऑप्शन नहीं आया था।
Chalo, see you, because it's going to cut anyway. Chalo,
cool.
see you guys.
Thanks a lot, Maitre. It was great.
Thank you,
Bye
sir.
bye.
Bye.